That's not working. It won't start. So, you got me. No fancy lead-in. I'm not sure why that stalled. We're on the same SIM card, so hopefully the one that we had yesterday. So hopefully it won't stall. We looked at it at the end and we couldn't find a problem this end, and I'm wondering, there's a few people mentioned it, so it must be an issue. But anyway, we can't do anything until tomorrow, and then we'll be on a different SIM card again. Anyway, we didn't want to lock into Starlink just for the month, because it should be working. It's been working fine. We go from there, and we're not moving offshore this month, so we don't need Starlink. So it's dormant, if that makes sense. Anyway, interesting times. There's some interesting weather coming, which we'll talk about at the end. And you may have seen the posts, if you're on Facebook rather than YouTube, about a rescue just off Uapua, or however you pronounce it, in the Marquesas, right where the fleet came through. Happened yesterday. A catamaran with a family on board. They hit something, and the boat was sinking. It didn't actually sink totally by the look of it. I'm not sure, but anyway, they set off their EPIRB, and they boarded their life raft, which was still connected to the boat. The EPIRB was detected pretty quickly, but there were no ships around, so Rescue Coordination Centre in Tahiti actually had launched an aircraft from there and flew across to the Marquesas and found them very quickly. The family were in a life raft, but apparently the raft was either damaged or leaking. There was water ingress, so they decided to drop another raft. They fly past and they drop a raft and another buoy on a line, which drifts down to them in the raft, and they're able to transfer into the other raft. And effectively, by that stage, they'd found a yacht that was close by, and also a ship. A ship had been diverted pretty quickly, but it was still quite a distance away. And the yacht ended up reaching them first to recover them. So it was a happy ending, which is kind of good. But just being in the area, hits home to the fact that anything can happen out there. And I often say that everyone's making it look too easy, but I always remind all the entrants that there are risks involved, and it is a risky business. We all do, the entrants and us as coordinators and organisers and stuff. We all do everything we can to minimise that risk, but things can happen. And in fact, it was only in December last year, in very similar position, it was only a couple hundred miles away, Monohull, their rudder stock broke. It was a highly publicised situation and sinking where the rudder shaft broke, and it was like a spade rudder, and then it started wobbling and it ripped out, created a bigger hole in the back of the boat, and over a period of time it sunk. They were able to photograph the boat sinking from the life raft, so it made news all over the place, and that was only a couple hundred miles out from southwest of the Marquesas. So one of those things. Anyway, touch wood, hope everyone's safe and toodalooing along, heading towards Vavau. Kerry's heading down to Pangai, and all's pretty good. I think I'll go straight to the tracker now, and we will see what we got. So you're looking at the tracker, and now I'm looking at the tracker as well. So here we are, all split out there. Gary got underway yesterday. I've actually got a picture of that, and I'll show you, seeing we're there. While we're waiting for some more people to come up, hang on, I'll come back to the picture. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Here we go with Gary departing. What's wrong with this picture? Ooh, japers. Luckily, Rolex aren't sponsors of the Mini Globe race. But anyway, he's happily underway. And, there's lots of things missing on that boat. But he'll be happy to get here, and he's got permission to bypass Tonga. So we'll talk more about that later on. Anyway, that's cool. And John, while I'm here on the pics, if I push this across, what do we got here? Actually, if you're planning to come to Fiji, these are the cabins on the marina. There's only one cabin left now. They're all booked. But these are the cabins that are right on the marina, and beautiful garden settings and all that sort of stuff. So If you've got the budget and you want the right place to stay, it's right there. So, but as I say, there's only one cabin left now for the last week, and they're pretty popular. So, and then finally, one for John. We're going to put a post up today showing everything. This was post polishing. This was before the polishing of our boat. This is adventure in the heart on the marina. You can see what goes on there. They just they dig a trench here, and the boat's brought in by the travel lift and lowered into the hull, and the hull is supported by tyres, and then it's strapped down. In fact, there's still the bow. You can just see a strap on the bow there. We actually had 6 straps. We had 4, one off each quarter. So we had 2 on the stern, 2 on the bow, and there was another anchor point. They put anchors, bury the anchors into the ground, and we actually put them to our Springer cleat here. We've got a cleat there midships. So we actually had 6 tie downs. And so if a cyclone comes across, you can't really fall over. You just got to hope there's nothing flying around, and that the tidal surge isn't more than about 3 meters or something, 3 or 4 meters. And it's renowned for that. It's a really good place to leave your boat over the cyclone season. So anyway, we're going to do a big photo gallery today because we finished polishing the hull. So I got a whole day on the computer today. How exciting. We can't launch straight away. They're really busy at the moment. We forgot to pre-book it. So it looks like we may go in the water on Friday. Anyway, so that's our adventure, but keep an eye out for those pictures. A big tour of the whole marina, and just to show you what the place is. So back to the tracker. Here we go. A few more people turning up, and I get on my tracker there. So you should have it. We should have it. So the boys are still sitting in Marquesas, not going anywhere at the moment, enjoying their time. Mark's still in Papeete. He's staying there waiting for Jill to turn up, and he's got a message to him the other day. He's actually leaving on the 6th of June, heading towards Tonga and then across to Fiji, but he might stop off along the way in different spots and enjoying the ride. So Gary, underway, 3.6 knots, did 58 miles since he left yesterday, sometime probably around midday or something, I'm not sure. Anyway, he's got good sailing conditions there. That's the real-time weather. When I say good sailing conditions, probably not fast. Gentle breezes, the sea's right down, but quite pleasant to start your journey. Josh, 4 knots and 96-mile day. Not quite for the 100-mile day, which is a psychological plus. Jasmine with possibly a black eye by now, if you saw her pictures. But maybe not. It was a bit further away from the eye. But anyway, 4 knots and a 99-mile day. And Ayrton, 4 knots, 99-mile day, sailing side by side. I'll pick it up so you can get a better impression of what's happening here. And then Adam doing 5 knots, 118-mile day. Quite a bit faster. Maybe a bit more breeze. It's a bit slower back here. And Jacob, 5 knots, 124-mile day. So he's picked out from Adam. Jacob rang us, and I'll tell you about that in the weather in a minute. I'm quite concerned about his arrival in Vavau with some weather coming, but it's not looking that bad, but I'll explain that in a minute. And Eric doing 127-mile day, so 3 miles taken out of Jacob. And Argo doing what Argo does. He does this all the time. He makes a decision and goes this way, goes that way, goes somewhere else. And at the moment, doing that, he's probably working the sails. I'm not sure because it's dead downwind, but it's dead downwind there. But he's actually sailing away from the mark. The mark is down here directly to the west rather. And you're sometimes better off doing small curve angles, unless you've got a real reason, whatever. But he's got his own reasons. Doing very well, 4.9 knots, 119-mile day. Not quite as good as Eric, 127-mile day. So there you go. And part of that will be vector made good towards the finish. He's sailing away from the mark, so it's a bit slower. Dan, Holiday Dan, doing 5.4, 126-mile day, right on track. Kerry heading down to Pangai. In less breeze, you can see the breeze. The further south you go is a little bit lighter, but nonetheless, he still managed a 120-mile day, which is okay. Lost out dramatically to Peeler because of his back issues, and we haven't heard any more about that at the moment, but you can see he was actually in front of Peeler. So if we look at the course relative position to where he is, I'll show you how far Pila has gained on. Come on, why is it not going there? There we go. There we go. So Kerry is now 87 miles behind Pila, near enough, and he was previously a few hours ahead of her. So the sore back is costing him nearly a day. The back issue, nearly a day. But anyway, it's still a long way to go around the world, and not really a problem. As I say, 4.9, 120. Pila, 5.5, 119. So actually, Kerry took out a mile from Pila. So that's cool. And Holiday Dan is right on the cusp of heading in towards Vavau. So we'll push him right up here. You can see where he is there. And it's perfect timing. And the breeze is not too bad. So as you all know, he's got to come around here, turn around the corner, and then head back up. So he'll have a bit of windward work. Hopefully he'll cut the corner here, but he's probably worried about a wind shadow. These are quite high, these hills. They're not mountainous, but they're high. But he'll obviously cut across. He's then maybe got attacked, but then he should be able to reach up into the main harbour here. So it's not so bad. So he'll be, I reckon he's probably going to take another 4 hours before he's in. So in about 4 hours, I think he'll be in the main harbour. Go over and drop anchor by Renaud or whatever it is. Renaud's probably, no, not yet. He'll probably getting off his boat as we speak, getting ready to head into clear customs, immigration, and all the rest of it. So good timing for Dan. And then let's look at Pila. She's probably about 100 miles behind. So that will be interesting because, yeah, about 100 miles from that spot. So the weather will stay pretty much the same. So you do a 5.5. So 10 hours. She may arrive just at dawn tomorrow. She could arrive if she's really quick in the dark. But anyway, it's still looking pretty good, pretty reasonable. And then Dan behind Pila, 80 miles. Okay, Dan might arrive in the dark just before, quite an hour or so before dawn. So, but it is a big ship channel going into Vavau. It's all lit. There's one lighthouse missing, which Renaud mentioned that's can happen in Tonga. So anyway, one light's down, maybe the first entry light or something, but the channel lights going all the way up in the middle should be working okay, and the GPS charting should be good for there as well. Oh, excuse me, we've got a situation here. A mosquito. I got him. Anyway, so yeah, Dan is probably going to arrive early morning as well. So and Kerry coming into, let me push this back, see if we can get there in daylight or dark to turn the corner. Again, you can actually do the same here. You can actually approach Pangai in the dark. It's not that difficult because it's a lit channel. Again, the last, it's about not even the last mile. You've got clear approach all the way through. So he's 200 miles. So that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, he should arrive. 100-mile days is going to be plenty of daylight. So, so he'll be arriving at a good time actually. So that's all good to see. And the others, we don't need to go to ETAs. So we'll come back here and push the weather for the next couple of days. Just have a look, and I'll show you this situation with Tonga and northerlies, and more particularly northwesterlies, which is usually not fun. So, okay, I got rid of that, so I dropped this back. So situation in Tonga for the anchorages, and in fact I'll explain this, I'll build this up. So there's 3 island groups there. Can you see that? Yes, just. Okay, this is Vavau up the top. Really nice place. It's a tourist destination, you might say. And the Hapai group in the middle here, that's absolute pure Pacific paradise. Cruising, quintessential. What people imagine their image of cruising the Pacific is, it's all centered right there in the Hapai group. It's really quite stunning. And then down the bottom, down here, you've got Nuku'alofa, which is the capital city in Tongatapu, the main island here. And the anchorages through most parts of Tonga, out the side here, because of the southeasterly winds, it's natural that the anchorages are on the other side because you're in the lee of the island. when you get into a northerly, they're coming down the chain of islands. If you're in Vavau, you're well secured. It's completely surrounded by terrain, so that's not a problem. But in the Hapai group, northerly, you're still usually okay. There's places to go. In Pangai, you're okay. You can go into the harbour. If you've got a really strong northerly, you can go into the harbour, and you're surrounded by walls and breakwaters and things like that, so that's okay. But all of the outer island anchorages, and even down here in Nuku'alofa, some of the anchorages there, they're open to the north, and you can get quite reasonable seas coming in. The worst is northwest for the Hapai group, and that there's not a lot of places to hide unless you're in the harbour at Pangai. Okay, so because it's blowing straight into the bits and pieces. So what's happening with the weather? We'll go through the first couple of days, and you'll see everything's fine. I'll just scale it back. So we've got the fleet there, and hit that, push it through. It's just more trade winds, pretty much the same. It's all going a bit light there, even up to Vavau, so it's probably back to 10 to 15 knots, but still plenty to sail with. And there goes the second. So we're into the third, 24 hours, 36 hours. It's strengthening a little bit, which is all good. And so speeds will be good. They should all be making 100, 120 mile days. Bit of a puff there for Dan Turk and the next leaders, which is Eric and Argo. So there's the third. The fourth is the same. It's all trade winds. And then the fifth is the same. Now, Jacob thought that there was going to be a strong northerly on the fourth. It's not. It's delaying. It's going to come in on the sixth. So anyway, the winds are picking up, pushing them along. So the back fleet is going to have a good ride coming right through to the fifth. And you start to see the turn now. And I'll show you what's happening. You've got a big system down here, and it's sucking the breeze in from the typical trades. If we go right back, you can see the trades are still being generated generally in a east, coming from the east, which is favourable. But it's sucking down to all of this confusion down in the Coral Sea, and also all the way down to New Zealand. So those northerlies are going to swing. If I come up, it's going to start swinging on the 5th, right? So going into the northeast, right? And then as you go through progressively, I think you can see that. There's Niafu in Vavau. You can see as it goes through, by the time we get to the 5th, it's starting to distinctly turn, and then it's coming across. And so by the 6th, right through the 6th, it's a northerly, but it's not super strong. It's going to be 15 to maybe puffing up to 20. So it's not a drama, and that's okay. But then if you're in the Hapai group, and it goes northwest, so I'll build this up now. There's not a lot of places to hide except in the harbour at Pangai. And so Kerry will probably be there then, still sitting tight in the harbour. You can see there it's northwest, and that only lasts for like about 12 hours. They come through pretty quickly, and then as soon as you get this trough come through, bang, you're back to a southwesterly. And often that wind swing like that happens about every 10 days. You'll always get this, not always, but it's very common. You get a cycle of weather every 10 days or so. You get a system come through, and you'll have that 12-hour period at northwest. And often we've had to hang out in Anchorage and just accept the fact we're on a lee shore. It's not going to last long, and you get a reasonable idea of the strength of that northwesterly. Before it softens off, you get the clouds disappear, and it comes through to a southwesterly. When you get the northerlies, you often get cloud and overcast and so on. So that weather is going to transition on the 6th and the 7th, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But you can see here, before that northwesterly is forward of the beam on the starboard tack. So those boats that are still coming in, then they're going to have to probably pay off a bit, who knows what. And so that may affect the, if we look at the approximate distances and ETAs of boats, and we say the transition is on 6 and 7, we look at the distance there, so that's going to be about 800 miles away. There's not many that are going to be out that level. No, everyone's going to be in. Jasmine's going to be in, so they should be in within 5 days. Oh, well, yeah, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, maybe Jasmine and Urton could just get a little bit of that, but I'm not concerned about it. And don't worry, Jacob. I think you'll be through it. You'll be in before then. Because the other issue, of course, is if you have if I blow this up again into the valve, you'll remember the direction coming up. This is what Jacob was a bit concerned about. He wanted clarification. If you're pushing up here, even in a northerly, that's to get into the harbour. Even with a northerly, it's just port tack hard on the nose. And when you do that, it's flat calm because you're in like a fjord. So as soon as you turn the corner with the northerly, you get down here. It's easy sailing. As soon as you come around, you're in the lee. So there's either no wind. This is particularly hilly just on the corner here. So you'll be in the lee and you'll get through. But there you'll get a bit of breeze and you'll just get a bit of a puff around the corner. So there's nothing to worry about per se. Okay, I think we haven't looked at currents for a while. I'll just have a look because I saw someone pass a comment. One of the skippers passed a comment thinking they had some current there, adverse current, but that all looks pretty good. It's either favourable or none at all. And it seems reasonably stable. Push it through a few days. Yeah, it's picking up. So some of them have got current assisting them, but there's nothing there of any dramatic nature. Clouds, let's have a look. This is 3 days away. So there's overcast there. So that's cool. Rain might be a bit in the middle of that. No, nothing happening there. Okay, so that's all there is. I'm coming back now to say hello. I come back here, and there we go. So all pretty simple today. And I hope you're going to have a good Monday if you're into Monday. We're Monday here now, so most people are Sunday night. So hope you had a great weekend. Loud and clear. We've got a good signal. That's good. Yeah, something strange yesterday. I'm not sure what it was. So that's cool. Greetings from Germany. G'day. Kylie. Oh my gosh, it's been so long, Don. Hope you're well. Kylie. Oh, cheapers. Okay. Yep, we're all good. And we're looking forward to getting into the into the water with the boat, and hopefully we wanted to go sailing before Renaud turned up, but now we're not going until Friday, so it might be a bit longer. Okay, I just got a message from Renaud. He might be watching this. Hi, Don. Is Pangai a good place anchorage for north and northwest winds as well? We'll have at the end of the week. Oh, he's not watching. He's just asking the same question I just talked about. Yeah, Pangai is okay, and it's 15 to 20 knots, but it does blow in there. But you get into the harbour and you're snug as a bug in a rug. You just go into the harbour and you anchor in the southern end of the harbour, and you can go stern to the wall and so on. But yeah, it is an exposed area for most of the cruising anchorages there with the northwesterly, but it only lasts about 12 hours. So, and as I say, we used to hang on with that. While I'm reading from here, I've got a message from Pila's manager. Pila's 100 miles from Tonga. That's good. I keep forgetting to read you Eric's excellent daily updates. His manager sends me really good updates, so I'm going to do that when I find it. Where is she? I've had too much happening on WhatsApp. Cheapest now I can't find it. Then cheapest. Here we go. No. This is great. Oh, Brenda, here we go. Okay, so this is the update for day 7. Tahiti to Tonga. Nice day of sailing yesterday. Last night was very frustrating. Hard to keep the boat on course. Bit of current also adding to the problem. That's where I read that. And this was yesterday. Anyway, not much sleep, but all good. 110 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. Just logged 800 nautical miles for 7 days, which is cool. It's really interesting. When we were coming up with the concept of the MGR, we were really trying to work out the passage times, and 100 miles a day is what we work to, and on the basis that I know, having sailed Trekker, that if there's wind to sail, you're easily going to make 100 miles. And if there's good wind, you're going to make 100, 110, 120 mile days without much effort at all. Like just cruising. If there's a good breeze, you're going to do 120 a day. And that's proving pretty right. So then I figured, okay, some days there'll be no wind, so you're going to go below the 100 miles a day. But most of the time, at least 2/3 of the time, you're going to have a good breeze, so you're going to do 110 to 120. So we picked a 100 mile day when we see a 7,000 mile passage, we just added 100 miles and that's it. And we were underestimated, which is a good thing. So our timing and passage planning through the Pacific across the top of Australia is all looking pretty good right now. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for following, and we will see you all again maybe tomorrow if we're lucky. Touch wood. So I'll hit this and see if we can go out in style. Boom, boom. Come on, it won't start. I don't know what's going on there. Okay.